Hello, so chapter 14, right? I'll let you read about some of the neo-Freudians that came after Freud and about the limitations of the Freudian approach, which chief among those limitations was the fact that it's unscientific, you can't confirm anything experimentally. So that's some major problems with the whole psychodynamic approach. That's also a problem with the next approach, to personality, which is the humanistic approach to personality. So humanistic psychology. And we mentioned this back in the prologue, I believe it was. So this approach is also unscientific, but it focuses on the goodness of human beings, which I like a lot better than all the negativity that goes with the psychodynamic view. This is my own personal feeling about it. I just like the humanistic psychology approach more, but it still has the major failing of being unscientific. But I like it. So anyway, they mentioned a couple people here in the humanistic approach to personality. They mentioned Abraham Maslow. So Maslow, you may have heard of this before, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But basically in the humanistic approach, let me say first, obviously all these people in the humanistic approach believe in free will, right? That humans can freely choose to improve themselves, to better themselves, to improve and become more what they want to be. So it's done some good stuff about that. So basically we all have, according to humanistic psychologists, positive tendencies in us, right? We all have that. Now, unfortunately, people may get off track, but basically all people are good to start off with, according to the humanistic approach, right? Now, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, starts at the very bottom. Basically, you fulfill the base needs first, and then you get to fulfilling more psychological needs, and then finally at the top of it's usually portrayed as a pyramid type structure. At the very top, you have the need for self-actualization. So it starts at the bottom with just fulfilling your basic biological or physiological needs, right? Once you've fulfilled that, I mean, once you're not starving and you have food and basic biological needs met, then you want to go on to the safety needs next, and basically find someplace you can be safe. I guess find your cave or your house, place where you can live and feel safe. And then after that, you'll move on to belongingness and love needs. So once you're not starving and once you feel secure, well, then you want to belong someplace and you want to find love, right? And then after that, you move on to self-esteem needs, they say. And I guess the self-concept is important in the humanistic approach, they say, that our sense of self. And of course, the ideal would be for each one of us to freely determine ourselves, right? To freely choose that for ourselves, which lots of people don't do, according to humanistic psychologists. But once you've got the, pardon me, self-esteem needs fulfilled, then at the very top of the pyramid, self-actualization and self-transcendence. But self-actualization, the striving to reach your full potential as a human being. Right now, there's not a hard, clear-cut definition for it because these guys are not scientists, right? So it's just, what is self-actualization? Well, it's striving to reach your full potential as a human being is what it is, right? Okay. So anyway, but that's good. But basically, this is encouraging people, helping people to see that they can make of themselves whatever they want. They can make choices. They can exercise their free will to improve their own life, to improve who they are, who they think they are. So there's a lot of positive things about this. So that's where most people should be on that track in the hierarchy of needs. Of course, really most people are not self-actualizing, and self-actualizing because no one ever actually reaches their full potential as a human being. So it's not you're not self-actualized, you're self-actualizing. You're constantly striving, right? But basically, those lower needs can get you off track a lot of the time, right? So if I feel loved, I've got safety, I feel loved, I'm feeling good about myself, and then a famine comes along and I'm starving, well, yeah, you're back down at the bottom of the pyramid, right? So this is something that constantly fluctuates throughout your life. And then they mentioned Carl Rogers and Rogers' person-centered approach. I might accidentally call it client-centered. It used to be called client-centered therapy. Now it's person-centered therapy. I guess that's more politically correct. It's not a client. They're a person. So it's person-centered. I guess, I don't know. But anyway, so yeah. Basically, are we at a place? Are we at a place in our lives where we are being encouraged to make our own choices and choose our own values and define our own self-concept, that sort of stuff? Well, circumstances can work against that sometimes, right? We might be living in an environment that does not encourage that. And and we'll cover client-centered. I'm calling it therapy because it is a therapy. We mentioned this in the therapy chapter. Is a humanistic therapy that's really been very influential. But basically, a lot of people have conditions of worth put upon them, right? There's something, they have conditional positive regard. They're given conditional positive regard. Positive regard, love, acceptance, right? It's conditional, though. They only get love and acceptance from others when they do what others want them to do, right? So mom and dad only love them when they do their chores or get their grades, right? Your friends only love and accept you when you do things for them, right? So what's happened there, according to Rogers, is you have surrendered your free will and you are not freely choosing who you are anymore, right? You're letting other people determine your actions for you. Since you're not exercising your free will, you're letting others control you, you're not on a healthy path. All right, you're going to have problems. So what he believes we need in order to exercise our free will and freely choose our own actions and define our own self-concept and all that sort of stuff, they mentioned three things here, and these are three components, key components that are important, I suppose, in fulfilling your own personality. But also, when we get to therapy chapter, there's three key components of person-centered therapy. These are things the client doesn't get anywhere else in their life. At least Rogers believes most don't get this. Now, hopefully, some of us do. So they talk about genuineness being one of these characteristics. Genuineness, a truly genuine relationship with someone, right? Completely open and honest. I mean, completely, right? If you think about that, you may not have any genuine relationships in your life. People who you could tell anything to, and they would still, be friends with you, right? I dare say some of you may not have, or may not be fully genuine in your relationships with your parents, or whatever. I'm just saying. So anyway, in therapy, you'd get that in this therapy since you're not getting it anywhere else. But if you are getting this, genuine relationships, and that's very good. And another thing they mentioned in there is basically acceptance being another key characteristic that's important for us. I guess taking control of our own personality, our own lives. And in this acceptance, this is where they mention unconditional positive regard. Right? You are accepted as a human being, and because you are a human being, you have value, and I will accept you, period. Unconditionally, I will give you positive regard. So I will value you as an individual no matter what. You don't have to do anything. It's unconditional positive regard, right? I will love and accept you no matter what. Once again, this is something Rogers thought most people don't get. So when I get to the therapy chapter, you're going to get it in client-centered therapy, right? And then finally, empathy, a truly empathetic relationship, with other people where they truly try to feel your point of view, right? That's very important because we can often feel no one understands us and that sort of stuff. We can feel isolated, but for some reason, it always comforts us to know that somebody else is genuinely trying to understand our point of view, empathy, right? So all of those are really important in personality, and you can provide your client those things in client-centered therapy when we get to the therapy chapter, right? So yeah, they mentioned the self-concept, right? Just basically all the thoughts and feelings we have about who we are, our self-concept. Now these humanistic therapies, yeah, they critique each of these approaches throughout the chapter. I kind of mentioned the main criticism already, that they're not scientific theories. You can't really demonstrate experimentally this stuff is true. But I really believe this can really change people's lives though in therapy. It's a really powerful thing to realize that I don't have to behave the way others want me to. I have free will. I can exercise my free will and make my own choices, right? It's kind of interesting stuff. Stop this video there.